choroidal detachments can hit you out of the blue during intraocular surgeries. Pre-existing choroidal detachment with rhegmatogenous retinal detachments needs specific measurements. You do choroidal drainage, along with surgical repair of RRD. Choroidal drainage is necessary to decrease the severity of choroidals introducing a non-bulk trocar cannula complex obliquely into the choroidal space into a quadrant of its highest elevation. The trocar plate was then removed to drain the serous fluid. Even a complex retinal detachment with massive hemorrhagic choroidal detachment warrants similar approach. Recurrent choroidal can also be due to the leakage around the cannulas in eyes with thin sclera. But sudden intraoperative choroidals call for individualized logistic approaches. How to avoid it, prevent it, and manage it. Intraoperative choroidals can be due to decrease in IOP. This can happen due to a sudden disbalance between outflow and inflow of fluids, like an increase in the outflow due to high suction or decrease in the inflow due to kinking or blockade of the infusion tube for some reason. Sudden cutter suction without making infusion on can drop IOP, which can precipitate choroidal formation. Rarely, air can accidentally go inside the suprachoroidal space, can result in sudden increase in volume of suprachoroidal space all around. This can ultimately lead to kissing choroidal detachment. It may happen due to accidental slippage of a non-sutured infusion cannula tip inside the suprachoroidal space. If the air infusion is high enough, especially 40 mm mercury or more, it can cause tear in vortex vein. Unfortunately, air may go inside the vortex vein, passing via ophthalmic veins to the cavernous sinus, or via pterygoid plexus to internal jugular vein to superior vena cava to the right atrium, and finally via pulmonary artery can cause pulmonary embolism. So this is a possible life-threatening venous air embolism occurring concurrently with ocular air fluid exchange during vitrectomy. One should remember this deadly condition, presumed AIRBY vitrectomy embolisation. I almost landed into this dreadful situation, operating on a total rhegmatogenous retinal detachment with considerable hypotony. At the start of the case, I injected balanced salt solution intravitreally to build up the IOP, then introduced all the cannulas. Vitrectomy completed without trouble. Posterior pole retina was settled with heavy fluid PFCL. Air fluid exchange was started to flatten the peripheral retina. I completed the laser. All I was left with was silicone oil injection. Then when I was about to inject the oil, darkness descended. I was petrified and totally perplexed. I switched on the microscope light and found a complete apposition of opposite retina due to kissing choroidals. The vitreous cavity was absolutely obliterated. Now what next? How to salvage the situation? Frantically looked to find the root cause for my predicament. The air infusion cannula seemed in a partially withdrawn stage. That means accidental suprachoroidal air infusion. I felt a severe chill going through my spine as my memory flashed a red signal. The possible fatal risk of presumed AIRBY vitrectomy embolization. I withdrew the air infusion cannula immediately. I was more or less sure about the intravitreal position of the right-handed superior cannula. So I introduced the air infusion cannula through it. Oh, it was magic. The kissing choroidal just vanished. Again, I introduced a non-bulb trocar cannula through pars plana and removed the trocar blade to allow the residue of the suprachoroidal air bubble to come out. I then reintroduced the routine infusion cannula, checked its tip meticulously. Finally, with a sigh of relief, I could complete the surgery without any further unwanted surprise. Already few deaths due to venous air embolism during VIR surgeries have been reported in the literature. The risk is going higher presently in this era of MIVS as infusion cannulas are no longer sutured to the sclera. Perhaps Almighty helped me to save not only the eye but the life of the patient that day through a very prompt and effective measure. Thank you.